What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We'll give you guys another second to pile into the rooms. But what is happening? Let's see if we can get TradingView up and running as well. Looks good. Hope you guys had a good little extended weekend. I know some of you guys traded Friday. I took off on Friday, so I am catching up on what the markets did, but from what I could really tell, the markets didn't do too much of really anything on Friday. Kind of a slow day, I take it. But all right, we got you guys piling in. We got good morning to Albert, Andrew, welcome. We got Brian, good morning. Cedric, Daniel's in the house. We got Fayaz, Frank, my girl Gina, we got Gerline, GWJ, Joe, Kyle, Michael Holt, Quantrain, good morning. Tanya, good morning. Terrence, we got my boy Woodshed Williams in the house. All my peeps in YouTube land, what is happening? Ernesto, we got Pat, good morning. We got Matt up in the YouTube algorithms. I like it. All right, team. So let's take a look at the weeklies first. Since today is Monday, let's just do a quick on at least the ones that we look at. We'll run through. Let's just take a look at the SPY and Qs on the weekly, just to get a rough idea. The other stocks I did look at as well. Lucian, good morning. Good morning. Been craving some price action. I know. People are like, you want some more turkey? Like, nah, just give me that price action. Give me that price action with with a little bit of short squeeze. So right now we are gapping down free market. We're about 50% retrace. We had a breakout candle again from my downward trend line. A little bit of volume came in the week after that. Little indecision, almost looking a little 3-bar candle-ish, but this one did not break out of that high wave. So this is our second week in a row that would be of us opening inside kind of this range. We do have the Fed coming out. I don't know if it's this week or next week. I have to take a look, but they are going to come out with the rate hikes, and we're going to start getting back to Fed talk. We did also have Black Friday, which I don't know. I mean, I didn't see craziness on Black Friday. I mean, I wasn't out of the store, so just whatever I saw on social media. But then I was like, I was getting the FOMO, like I should be buying something. So I was on Amazon. I was like, okay, good. Let's see what the hype's about. I don't know. I didn't find anything. I was like, I need this. This is amazing. This is a great deal. I mean, they were like Bed Bath Beyond coupon pricing. Like I was like, I don't know. Did you let me know in the chat if you guys bought anything on Black Friday or used it? But if Black Friday was weak, and I know it's going to be different this year and every year that goes forward than where it was 10 years ago, Black Friday, where everybody had to rush to stores, because online presence is going to be a much bigger takeaway from physically going to the stores. Yeah, that's the only thing I got was a TradingView subscription. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, I guess. I don't know. But if Black Friday, because then there was like some reports that were like Black Friday's busy and everyone's getting deals. But then I was looking at things and there's a lot of inventory. Like inventory on all the bigger items that usually would get sold out right away. And again, maybe they purchase online and they just have to come pick it up. I don't know, but to me, Black Friday, all the stores have big, huge inventory. So we'll see how today goes. We'll see when those numbers start to come out. That would be very, very interesting to see consumer confidence and kind of where we're at with the overall market. But that leads me to believe if Black Friday was actually a dud, there's going to be some crazier deals coming in January where we just have to start unloading a lot of that just inventory sitting around where, again, maybe there was good sales, but maybe some of the retailers just over purchased, over ordered. There was a lot of stuff back in shipping containers that finally made it to stores. I don't know. We'll have to see. But to me, I didn't really see like the craziness that you usually see. But again, that's just my perspective. We'll see when the numbers actually come out. Lucian says, I think the sales prices were just a partial reduction over inflation. Yeah. hmm I, I I think that too. I think obviously the prices have skyrocketed. So you go, hey, there's a sale. I don't know. I mean, you're just discounting what you just raised, and then and then you're telling me that's I don't know. But I didn't really see like the craziness that you usually would see. So again, we'll see. Cyber Monday's going on. If somebody finds a good deal, let me know so I can buy something. I don't want to miss out. But I didn't really see anything too crazy. And again, I'm more concerned about like not that people are buying. I haven't seen one person besides TradingView come in here saying they purchased something. So, I don't know. Let's see. YouTube link. Can I get an email for the guy who does Beginner Friday, please? Richard, just shoot me an email. Shoot it to support@reallifetrading.com and I'll connect you with RT3. Kelly says, bought 90 days of trading to trading. Yep, beautiful. I mean, yeah, investing in yourself, that's good, but like consumer materials, nothing. I don't know. TradingView. No, like the courses and like real life trading stuff, but like other consumer stuff that people would normally buy. I heard like air fryers are supposed to be big this year. I mean, I don't know. On the daily first buy, we have again, let's just do a little quick fib on this one. This is probably roughly about a 50% retrace. Let's see. Go from here to here. So we have a little bit of a retrace that we're sitting at pre-market. Not quite the 50. So that would put us down to 397.82. Otherwise, we're slightly hanging into that previous pivot as far as where the VPOC was. So that's a level that's got to hold 398.59. And then if that breaks, I mean, we do have two other VPOCs over here that would be also a 50% retrace, at least from this last leg up, this last final move. I mean, I don't really have an edge either way, bullish or bearish. It is definitely a gap down. Pretty decent gap down. Obviously, Friday was kind of a nothing burger. Thursday, we are gapping below that, but volume all last week. I mean, you can see volume just trailed off like crazy. So kind of expected as well. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if the bulls or the bears. I'll go either way today. Targets again, immediate targets on the SPY at least would take us somewhere to about 397.77. And if we head one lower, the next level that I really want to see hold is 396.47. That takes us to the 618 retracement. But I would imagine there is some bulls trapped. Maybe at open we get some kind of slight edge to the downside, and then I want to see where these other levels really want to hold, but or if they do hold at all, we will see on that. Let me take this off. Pull up the Qs. And somebody did say when the next Fed meeting was, I believe. Powell. Oh, okay, so we got Powell speaking on Wednesday. Appreciate that, Doug. Well, if history repeats itself, we typically see a couple boring days before Powell. Let's see if that's the case. Smaller moves, nothing too crazy, and then Powell comes out. We'll see what he has to say, and we'll see how the market wants to react prior to that. But we should have volume starting to come back into the market today. We're through the holiday weekend. Maybe a slower grind though. Qs, same type of deal. So let's see a quick fib on this one. Yeah. Got to put a line. It takes us, this is not to the penny, but it's close. That would take us to roughly 285 would be a 50% retrace. We're slightly at or slightly below that point. So if this area doesn't hold, the next stop I'd be looking for a much stronger bounce would take us to somewhere in the 283.98 zone. That'd be right around that 618. So somewhere from 285 to 280, let's call it 4. That would be a spot that I'm going to be you're probably going to see a lot of chop in there until one direction breaks or the other. So we'll see. I think macroeconomics, especially China. I think that we had a lot of news in China coming out over the weekend as well. FSLR, no, we didn't look at that one. So FSLR is gapping down. Looks kind of similar to the market. It's still got strength in it just because we're above that 10 EMA on the daily chart. So we still are hanging in there, but this is a decent gap down. Again, all of these gap downs, when it comes to gap downs, why they're so important is just the fact that they're trapping people. You tend to want to see a lot of volume get trapped. Here, we're not seeing. I mean, we're below average on all that volume. So even a lot of these gap downs, I don't know if they weigh as much pressure as some of the other ones might. So even though these are gap downs, it could be chopping around a little bit. It's so that got downgraded. I believe DraftKings also got downgraded as well today. So there's a couple downgrades coming out. JP Morgan put DraftKings at $12. And this gap, at least on this gap, is a little bit more impressive. So I'll be looking to probably ride the momentum wave on DraftKings to the downside today if you're going to play it. We're at least underneath some kind of a decent pivot, some kind of levels that should have held. So far, they have not. And again, JP Morgan put a $12 target. Doesn't mean it has to hit it today, but probably the next stop on DraftKings, at least a reasonable target, I'd say $13.58. And then maybe we get down a little bit lower to about $13.40. That's probably looking for the day's range, but they also had a downgrade. I think Barron's put out an article on Disney. Not really a downgrade from Barron's, but just saying the new / old CEO will have a much more challenging time than he thinks. And you are getting a little bit of a pullback, but I think Disney is still kind of strong, to be honest. At least in a longer term view, I think it was 2-3, probably about 3 or 4 weeks actually. In the long term session, we were talking about Disney. Still looking to buy it. I don't mind it around these prices, especially if it dips down a little bit further, close to that 95. I think we were looking at. But yeah, I wouldn't mind adding some Disney in there. And then let's look real quick at Shopify. Then we'll get into the ones that we look at every single day. Just says, Dan, I need your help with my account getting into Zoom. All right. 2 things. Try to reinstall Zoom first. Otherwise, if you go into your dashboard, you should just see the icon for All Access Pass, be able to click on it and take you in. If that's not working, a lot of times, most times, and 99% of the time, you just have to update the newer version of Zoom, and that should take you into the account. But if that does not work, hit me with an email, support@reallifetrading.com. And as soon as I jump off the mic today, I'll get you in on that as well. Or if I could do it in between, that's fine too. Erica got some toys for all my kids and cousins, but they were not great deals. Only got them because I needed Christmas gifts. Yeah, they force you into the retail. You gotta buy it. You gotta buy it. There's kids involved. Shopify. So Shopify does have a nice little gap up. This one should, I expect, to be some kind of a retest. Maybe a little bit of support though comes in. I mean, it is a decent gap, but 38.76 would be some kind of support. If that breaks, then we're probably coming back for a little bit more of a full retest down to 36.56. Otherwise, the high end of this range would probably be about $40.76. But keep in mind, we do have a decent gap. Again, all of the volume is just muted from last week. So interpreting who's actually trapped on these things, I would say there's a lot more buying pressure into this gap up, where I think there's a lot more people making money than losing money in this gap. And this gap is probably more likely to fade than not. Chad says, new to TradingView, which VBOC indicator are you using? Yep, so if you click on this little indicator button, you're just going to type in session volume profile. Looks like this one right here. And that's the one that you're going to want to add for that. All right, let's take a look at the stocks that we look at every single day for 10 EMA. Yep, no problem, Jess. I'll take a look into that. All right, so we do have a little bit of a gap down on Delta as well. Obviously, the trend has been massively bullish, at least for the last few weeks. However, could this be a double top and then we start to reverse? Still technically in that upward trend, right? So we still have this little trend line from here to here, and we're still holding that. I expect that to be a little bit of support, but I'll be watching to see if this thing breaks. This thing has to pull back, at least if I'm interested in buying it. This could also be a 5-wave count too. So on a daily, this could be potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This entire move ABC. The only other factor I really need is for us to break that uptrend, and then I think we could look for reverse. Otherwise, I'm not about to get in long on Delta, but I can't really go short yet either. So just kind of waiting on that. And again, it's inside day. We don't have to worry about 10 EMA, at least out of the gate on it. Amazon doing something a little bit different. Maybe a little, actually, maybe Amazon's, I don't know how, but a sympathy of Shopify. So I would say normally Shopify should be more of a sympathy for Amazon, but you do see that nice little gap on Shopify, Amazon. We are gapping up where the rest of the market kind of gapping down. So this one, at least today, looks a little bit different. We should have decent support. We got 1, 2, 3 different spots. What worries me on this one in the long direction would be that 10 EMA coming in, adding some extra pressure. But let me see where we got this bounce on this last. Is that a 618? Kind of looks like it. Yeah, that's a 618 bounce right there. Now we're kind of gapping up above that. I would actually lean a little bit more bullish. I'm absolutely terrified of going long on Amazon for day trade, but we can't take it yet for the 10 EMA just because we're still inside that move. But technically, this is a gap and go, and we are gapping above some key spots. So the only thing I'm really concerned with would be that 10 EMA. If we were above that 10 EMA, I would like this one a lot for a bullish trade. Good hammer. This was the retest into that hammer. Now we're gapping above it. All right, I like that one. So Amazon will be a little bit higher on the list. I don't know why I always have CRM up here. I don't even trade CRM. I don't know. And then SPY is always so far on my list. I'm gonna we'll throw SPY up here. All right. But Amazon looks actually interesting. I'm absolutely terrified going bullish on it, but it does look good. Apple, on the other hand, not so pleasant. We're starting to get, at least from that last kind of move that we had, and I think we're all just sitting in some kind of a pullback. But I think to some extent, we probably are roughly looking to hit that 50 if we have not done it yet. Yep, so decent volume. Was the last big volume candle? That's this one right here. Probably looking at maybe we sell off to about 144.09. That'd be about a 50% retrace, and looking to see if we could bounce from there. Otherwise, the next stop takes us to 141.90. And then we start getting into some scarier territory for sure on Apple. But I don't know if I would take this one bullish or bearish out of the gate. Let me just see the weekly. That might change my mind. The weekly, I'm kind of sitting right at that. No. Yeah, we're kind of sitting a little bit at that 50% retrace. I would actually probably have to go up higher. To about here. We're right at that 50. This is also a retest of last week. This one might fade bullish. I probably would think that some people are looking at the spot to buy Apple, and this one probably rips bullish up into some kind of a retest zone. Just looking at that weekly. Let me flip this back real quick as well. I'm gonna have to change. Well, that would be the weekly. Yep. Yeah, we're sitting right at the 50%. This is probably a buy spot on Apple. And it's probably a retest gap on the weekly, is how I would look at this. So if I can get an opportunity, 10 EMA, I gotta wait for the 10 EMA, I got to wait for those moving averages to be on the correct side of the trade that I want to take. Right now, they would both be probably looking bearish over bullish, so I'd have to wait on that one. NVIDIA, on a wave count basis on NVIDIA, and obviously this thing has been super strong. This is 1, 2, probably a 3, 4. That could be 5. We still got the 10 EMA down here, so I'm still watching that until that breaks. We're still kind of still sitting a little bit up to the strong side. This could also be a decent looking cup and handle if we zoom out, right? This all could be one massive cup. This is our handle pullback, and if we start to break the real level that I'm watching for is this pivot, so some kind of downtrend, maybe even this last candle that we put in on the daily, some kind of inside candle. So right now we are gapping down, so we're not really too worried about the bullish direction. But if you're looking to trade it and want to attempt the bearish play on NVIDIA, again, that's a tough pill to swallow. But we are below Thursday. Friday, we did have some kind of inside gap. We're sitting roughly about the 50%. I'm watching maybe this 158.60 as some kind of support. That would take a retest of those VPOCs. That would also get us into kind of us potentially bouncing off that 10 EMA. That will also be about a 50% retrace of that last original move. So that would be a very, very strong spot to make a case for the bulls. So I don't know how much room we have to the downside. I kind of expected today to be a little bit slower, honestly. Looking at everything, besides Amazon might be one of my more favorite gaps. And even that is still scary because we got the 10 EMA on the wrong side on the daily chart. We got AMD. Again, this is about a 50% retrace as well. It's also a retest gap, so I wouldn't necessarily go short at open on AMD. If anything, let's see if we get a retest. I will attempt probably some kind of short on AMD. But at this point, let's see if it comes up, hits us somewhere at the 75.38 zone, and then stop. I mean, anywhere above these VPOCs, 76.83 would be a decent spot. Honestly, we shouldn't get really above 76.36. If we start doing that, we're in trouble on the bullish side or the bear side. But let's see if this one wants to retest first. Inside day again. So out of the gate. Actually, it's not inside. So it will qualify. The only thing it would be we're on the wrong side of the 10 EMA to go bearish. I think this one actually might qualify. This might be decent. But I can't play it in a bullish direction. I'd have to wait for that retest to come in. And then we got the Tessie. The Tesla. So this is another retest gap. Technically, we are below those wicks on a lot of these things, which means we might be trapping some bulls. However, we're at some kind of support right now. Maybe a little bit lower, 178.15 would be very, very interesting. This was the retest of that original one. Still below the 10 EMA. Still Tesla, which again, I still think valuation is a little bit higher. And then you're still getting every single day in media coverage on Elon with Twitter, with everything else that he does. If you're looking at the short, I'd have to wait for this retest to come up. So I'd want to see a little bit of a bounce at open on a lot of these things. Boeing, which has just had a crazy, crazy run. Is this the time to short? I don't know. It's very, very squeezy. Very, very squeezy. But that being said, if you're throwing maybe a swing trade out on this one, looking for some kind of a stop at 179.60. If you start breaking that, just get out of the way. So it gives you about $3 if you do want to go short. Again, inside day, probably not expecting a lot. And again, I don't really think that we do too much unless probably today, tomorrow, unless something crazy comes out, Black Swan comes out, something that we don't expect. Otherwise, we have Jerome speaking on Wednesday. I think that's going to be the catalyst that we're all kind of just waiting for, just to see what happens. But yeah, for right now, I'm not seeing anything too insane. today. Square is again a retest gap at some good support. This one probably gets bid up at the open. Airbnb, technically a gap and go with some key levels of support. So again, nothing too crazy. A little bit of a gap and go on JP Morgan as well. That could be interesting. I mean, maybe we could eventually get this down. That's not even that much room. It takes us to a 134.14. It's not too nuts. I think, what is it? PPD? No, PDD. What's the Chinese stock? PDD. I think they reported earnings, which were pretty good. This one does look a little bit different. They beat earnings. Maybe we could get some kind of move at this one. I didn't really see any sympathy plays from the other Chinese names, though. But this one is at least looking a lot different than the overall market. We had some kind of a double top. We're breaking a little bit. Any kind of a pullback, especially if we get some kind of pullback into like 72.44. This one could be interesting to keep on the watch list. But that is a fairly nice gap coming into a little bit of, again, resistance, at least from one previous pivot. But it is looking different than the rest of the market, at least. But again, on other Chinese names, I'm not really seeing the same kind of momentum. So Baba is still gapping down a little bit. So it would be just more PDD just based on earnings. Teladoc, not looking great. Let's take a look at Roblo. I haven't honestly looked at Roblo in forever. Yeah, just hanging out. A little bit of support. If $30.47 breaks, we start closing under that. Look out below. We should have a decent amount of room to run to probably about 26.82 for the first stop, and then next stop would be 25.46. So this all could still be. We had some kind of a hammer after lots of selling, and we're just kind of in between a lot of those things right now. Roku, same thing, just hanging out. Snapchat, could be a retest of this one little hammer. I mean, for any case of the bullish direction, and I think that just jumped on us too. DE, we got Deere Company again, massive gap, just kind of hanging out. So just a lot of inside everything at this point. PLTR doesn't look too great, but still holding on to one level of resistance, and then below it, we got to watch for that really $7 range. So 702, but I'd give it to about $7. Peloton, not at zero yet. That in itself, pretty shocking. Netflix. Netflix doesn't look great. Netflix could be shortable. We have a little bit of the last level I'd be watching is 283.67. If that starts to break, we're already opening pretty much essentially underneath that last opening of the hammer that came in. Obviously, some bulls saved it here. Probably a little struggle bus in both directions. But if this one starts to fade a little bit, look out below. We could come down a little bit further. Obviously, good earnings. But I only got 4 seconds to the opening bell. So everybody there on YouTube land, I appreciate you joining us each and every day. Make sure on the way out, you hit that little subscribe button, hit the notification. This way you stay updated with all the newer content and videos put out from Real Life Trading. And if, of course, you do want to hang out and trade with us all day, you can just go to reallifetrading.com. And we do have the All Access Pass where you can be with us from market open, 30 minutes before market, to about 2 hours after the market closes for the swing trade room, and be with us all day. Otherwise, we will see all you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.